In everyday language, many mental illnesses are simply mixed up according to the mix and match principle. Schizophrenia is almost always confused with dissociative personality disorder, or more commonly, split personality. Schizophrenics, however, only carry one personality. Only what they hear, see, understand, and experience does not always coincide with reality. Delusions and hallucinations are the strongest symptoms of an acute episode. Approximately 1% of the population is affected by this disease, which is equally distributed among men and women. It first appears in men between the ages of 20 and 25, and in women usually somewhat later in life. We distinguish between 4 different variants, which we will discuss in detail in another video. The clinical presentation of schizophrenia is hereditary. However, there is no single gene or singular cause for it. They are multifactorial. An important role is played by environmental influences as well as a corresponding predisposition within the family. If this is known, those affected can focus their attention in a timely manner on whether they have to fear an onset of this disease. In today's video, we will present the 6 clearest known signs that schizophrenia could be the cause of abnormal behavior. If you like our videos, feel free to support us with a thumbs up, subscribe to Psychology in Mind, activate the bell for notifications, and get excited for new videos uploaded every day. Number 1. Delusions. Delusions are one of the clearest manifestations of schizophrenia. Sufferers cannot be dissuaded from their convictions, even when they can be presented with conclusive and valid evidence that the opposite is the case. They are convinced, for example, that they are terminally ill, even if the examination results of several doctors disproves this. They are also often subject to classic delusions of persecution, thinking that the world is about to end or that the trees and stones are speaking to them. All of these beliefs come from deep within them and cannot be refuted with logic, argument, or evidence. What is particularly tragic about this is that almost any circumstance in life can become the subject of such a delusion. Sufferers either feel constantly persecuted, the so-called persecution delusion, or otherwise threatened. They are convinced that they are ill, the hypochondriacal delusion, or feel called to higher things, so-called delusions of grandeur. These delusional episodes cannot always be distinguished from reality. However, in many patients, these episodes announce themselves in the form of the so-called delusional mood. The patients are then convinced that bad things will happen to them soon. Their state of mind is characterized by agitation and restlessness. Number 2. Hallucinations. Hallucinations usually occur as auditory and visual manifestations. Those affected see people or hear voices that no one but they can perceive. We are also familiar with such states within religious phenomena or trance states, such as those experienced by dervish dancers. A simple hallucination does not make one schizophrenic. However, recurring sightings that no one but the affected person notices are worrisome. The clinical picture of schizophrenia torments its patients more often than usual with auditory hallucinations. The so-called touch hallucinations and optical hallucinations, on the other hand, are rather rare. Acoustic hallucinations are usually perceived by patients in the form of voices that no one else hears. Here, the experts first distinguish that thoughts become loud. In this case, the patients hear their own thoughts like spoken words. There are also dialogic voices in which patients think they are listening to conversations about themselves. Commenting voices speak from a certain part of the body and describe all their actions. It is particularly difficult to deal with imperative or requesting voices, as these often give the affected person orders, which they then follow. Number 3. Altered facial expressions and expressiveness. Another clear sign of schizophrenia is a lack of emotional expression. When we speak, what is said usually matches the emotions that are being expressed, or at least should in some way resonate. On the other hand, When people speak in a completely monotone manner and sound more like a machine than a sentient being, schizophrenia is often the cause. The affected person is frequently falsely accused of callousness and a lack of empathy. However, they often simply lack words. The deficit in facial expressions afflicts schizophrenics, but also reversely. It is much more difficult for them to correctly classify the emotional state of their conversational partners. They cannot distinguish whether their counterpart is happy, sad, or angry. The situation becomes particularly difficult when these symptoms intensify. Many of those affected then feel empty inside. Not only does their facial expression become rigid, but also any eye contact is avoided. The result is social withdrawal. Overall, those affected show little interest during these phases. They appear joyless and are incapable of allowing closeness. Depressive episodes can then occur as an accompanying symptom. Conversely, schizophrenics also experience almost manic phases, in which exuberance, aloofness from other people, and complete uninhibitedness are evident. It also happens frequently that schizophrenic patients cannot reconcile their emotional expression with the given situation, or see it in the correct context. They then show, for example, amusement and laughter at terrible or sad events. Number 4, movement abnormalities. Schizophrenics often cannot adequately control their movements. They suddenly show an unexplainable movement of the arms, hands, or legs, or lapse into a tremor, similar to that seen in Parkinson's or Huntington's disease patients. They appear extremely restless, bursting with energy, and can hardly sit still. These phases in turn alternate with complete motionlessness and apathy with full consciousness. The complete lack of reactions can be accompanied by volatile aggressiveness and impulsive behavior. Some recent studies even suggest that initial signs of schizophrenia may be seen in the eyes. The typical healthy movement pattern of the gaze changes significantly. In addition, the retina of those affected seems to be thinner than in healthy people, as a study by the University Hospital in Ulm was able to convincingly demonstrate. Number 5, memory problems. Both long-term and short-term memory are often affected in schizophrenics. During an episode, they have problems focusing on the simplest things in the here and now and can hardly hold on to a clear thought. They quickly lose the thread of a conversation and appear disoriented and listless. Number 6, incoherent sentences and rambling monologues. Speech suffers enormously from the outbreak of a schizophrenic episode. Word-finding difficulties go hand in hand with dramatic, rambling monologues that seem to go on forever. Often what is said makes no sense at all. Some sentences simply remain incomplete. Today's conclusion: schizophrenia, how to help yourself. Schizophrenia is not curable. If there is a family history of the disease, medical help should be sought sooner rather than later. Taking medications regularly and adhering to a treatment plan are of utmost importance. However, sufferers can do a lot themselves to prevent this disease from taking control of their lives. The best protection against frequent relapses is an active lifestyle in which exercise and sports play just as important a role as maintaining social contacts, hobbies, and interests. Relaxation exercises, meditation, and yoga are always a good idea, but a clearly structured daily routine and integration into a social group are also beneficial. Those who withdraw too much from life abandon themselves to their illness. On the other hand, those who seek out the social structure of a group may not be able to defeat schizophrenia, but they will not let it win either. That's it for today. Thanks very much, and see you soon.
Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. For more resources about mental health, self-improvement, and psychology, visit our website. You'll find the link in the video description where you can also connect with us on social media and sign up for our email list. Take care of yourself and have a beautiful day.